Good morning. Good morning. It's about 2:35 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym right now. I didn't really have too much to talk to you about today besides just you know, being true to yourself. There's a situation going on right now with the NCAA, which is the National Collegiate Athletic Association, which pretty much covers all college sports. And they've enacted what's called the Rich Paul rule. Rich Paul is an individual who is a friend of a very affluent NBA basketball star. And this rule is pretty much enacted to keep anybody from representing a NCAA player as an agent that does not have a degree, some type of degree, doctor's degree, some associates, bachelor's, anyways. Rich Paul is a 37-year-old African-American sports agent with probably one of the best affluent businesses in the NBA. And this affects him directly. So I was learning a little bit about what was going on with the NCAA and how the Rich Paul rule was affecting him, LeBron James, some of the other players. And I watched an interview that he had did. Now, mind you, he's a 37-year-old guy from Akron or Cleveland, one of them, Ohio, one of the two states. Either way, ain't much going on in Akron or Cleveland besides the Cleveland Cavaliers or LeBron James when he was there. That was about it. So, pretty much, Isaiah Thomas sits down with Rich Paul, and they're having an interview. And he kind of asks him, what makes you different than other people? And Rich Paul goes through some of the regular spew that agents or people who are in that industry, would kind of give to you. But then he says something that I thought was very interesting. He says the NBA player has so much money that the majority of the people that are in their presence are there simply to just agree with whatever they want. To simply agree. He says, what makes me different is I care enough about my client to tell them the truth. And Isaiah Thomas, again, another affluent athlete, now CEO of the Detroit Pistons, 3-time championship. He looks at Rich Paul and he says, I thought it was funny, aren't you worried about losing a client? Aren't you worried that it could cost you business? Because these guys don't want to be told the truth. Aren't you worried about that? He says, I'm more concerned with what the effects of not telling the truth would do. That if I have to lie to you, we don't have to do business. But I'm not going to lie to you so that we can do business. And what caught me about that was I had heard a message by T.D. Jakes. And he says, You're always talking about you keeping it real. But keeping it real will keep you broke. You know, at the end of the day, you can do one of two things. You can play the game, or you can keep it real. Keeping it real will cost you. It will. I don't think anybody could have got away with what Rich Paul gets away with by keeping it real had he not had a relationship. Now, before I say this, keep in mind, I don't believe anybody can become successful or stay successful without putting in work and knowing what they're talking about. But with that said, I don't believe he would have been able to get away with telling these superstar athletes, in some instances, the truth, had he not been best friends with LeBron James, as well as co-owner of their sports agency. But I commend that. I always said, my grandmother would say, I say the things that other people are thinking and would not say. And to this day, I don't know if she meant that for good or she said I was screwing up big time. But I think it's cost me in instances where maybe I could have spared the person's feeling and not been so direct. But at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. But there's going to be a cost for that decision. It's completely up to you.